I'm Ric Matthews. I'm the minister at First United Church in Vancouver, where Rodney Watson is currently staying. And the reason that we've agreed to provide sanctuary when Rodney approached us is actually fairly simple. This community for 124 years has been present in an area of the city that is populated by many who would be described as so-called marginalized. And a lot of the work we have done in the past has been with those who find themselves on the outside of the normal activities of middle-class society. A lot of our work often becomes what looks a lot like charity, but has always been based in justice. And in this particular case, while Rodney joins a whole lot of other people in this building that have come here to seek refuge and to sort out their lives, in this particular case there's an obvious case for sanctuary in its formal sense. For thousands of years the church has offered sanctuary to people who find themselves at the margins of what society is comfortable with, but where clearly what is happening could be labeled as unjust. And sanctuary provides the space in which we can work together on those issues that will produce a more just outcome. It effectively interrupts the momentum that relentlessly moves towards an outcome that is not just, and it interrupts that and provides an alternative. So for Rodney, the injustice in this case is fairly obvious, and that is that the respect for the democratic process has been compromised. Clearly the democratic will of the people of Canada, as reflected in polls and as reflected twice by the elected representatives of this country, was that those who would seek to remove themselves from the Iraq War should be given refuge in this country. We, at this point, have taken action that is contrary to that intent. And so the democratic process itself is really not being heard. The other side of it is a very simple matter. The church and secular society has for a long, long time held people accountable for the decisions they make in a time of war. You can't hold people accountable for the decisions they make if you don't allow them to make the decisions. So when somebody says, I do not want to participate in a war, we need to respect that, regardless of whether we agree with their decision or not. Again, in this particular case, this is a war that millions of people around the world have labeled as unjust, that the United Church of Canada has refused to support, that Canada refused to participate in, and that the current Prime Minister has labeled a serious error. So for someone to say, I don't want to participate in this war, there's more than enough reason to say we should respect that decision. And this country has given refuge consistently for people who have been put in a place where they're asked to be part of a war that they don't want to participate in. So regardless of whatever choices were made before, regardless of whatever one signed up for, that point is reached for an individual when he or she says, I no longer want to be part of that, is a point that has to be respected and honored. And this offering sanctuary is purely creating the place for that to be heard, to be reconsidered, and to be honored. And I would hope that those who are reading about this, hearing about it, seeing what's happening, that those folk would join with many others to be a voice for justice in this country and for this country's history of recognizing and affirming the right of people to remove themselves from wars that they don't want to participate in.